Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And just an update on Elandsfontein. And thank you so much to Clinton for sending me this info. Okay, a few pointers just to get us going. The people behind the illegal sale of land, private land, are known as the Big Six. And they claim the money is for legal representation. The Midvaal municipality and the landowners are trying to stop the occupation. And as you know, last weekend they did so very, very successfully. Some of the owners are in hiding and have fled their homes after receiving death threats. Members of the Big Six say this is a race war between blacks and whites. Moketi Motsami, Mako member for Development Planning and Human Settlement for Midvaal, said, "This is no longer a land invasion, but a criminal syndicate being perpetrated by a group of criminals. They have been successful in doing some land invasions in Johannesburg South. The city was not proactive in the matter. They are looking for other areas, and Elandsfontein has been an easy target." The legal owners of the land say they fear for their lives after receiving death threats. Some have fled their homes. One of them, Clinton Gruer, says he is at a safe house after an attempt to petrol bomb his house in broad daylight on the weekend. Now, that was last weekend, but let's get an update. The Big Six want to turn it into a race war, which it is not. Some of the landowners who were affected by the land invasion were mostly blacks, coloureds and Indians, says Beverly Gruer, a landowner in Elandsfontein, Midvaal, where a group of men calling themselves the Big Six have coordinated a land occupation. The Big Six have framed the occupation in racial terms. They're the racists. Let's get that quite clear. These African gangs, criminals, are racists. The Big Six have framed the occupation in racial terms, telling Ground Up last week that the land had to be taken from white people and be given to black people. A list compiled by landowners shows that at least 7 plots on the land appear not to be owned by whites. Gruer said, "I feel sorry for the poor and desperate people they took money from. It doesn't make sense that criminals would want to invade land simply because they did not see anyone on the land. It takes time for some people to raise money to start their agricultural projects." On Saturday and Sunday, Metro Police, De Duur's SAPS, or South African Police Service, and members of the Community Policing Forum stepped up patrols in the area to stop occupiers re-erecting shacks that had been demolished. The municipality also dug a deep trench to isolate the land from Vlakfontein Township. Now, my information is that it wasn't the municipality that did it. It was actually the landowners at Elandsfontein who did it, and it cost them a small fortune, but it was that important that they actually had that trench dug. And it's in an earlier video on my 2020 channel. You'll see all the information there. Landowners with shields and pellet guns formed a wall to stop the occupiers from crossing a bridge on the N1. Over a dozen frustrated occupiers threw stones and shouted insults. Some threw stones at cars on the N1 and threatened to close the road, Metro Police dispersing them. A large group of landowners who mobilized themselves through social media and the Loving Life YouTube channel also arrived in the early hours of Saturday morning to support the Elandsfontein landowners. Landowner Marius Harding, who I've had here on the channel, said, "This is a housing problem which the government is failing to solve. We can say what happened to landowners here in Elandsfontein is another way of people trying to take matters into their own hands and expropriate land without compensation through mob justice. As long as the government fails to give people land, mobs will continue invading." Gruer said, The past 3 months has been terrible. This is Beverly Gruer. She said, my son received death threats. Our home was petrol bombed and we had to extinguish flames before they spread. Several times on my way to work, some men and women would block the road to stop my car from passing. They threatened to drag me out of the car and chop me into pieces and burn me, all because they wanted to steal land that does not belong to them. This is what is happening in South Africa. And it's not just restricted to Elandsfontein, it's happening in other places too. And if there are other communities who are facing land invasions like this, send me an email. I will make it so well known throughout South Africa, it won't happen. That's what this channel is doing. It's rooting for you guys. It's supporting the people who are doing things legitimately, unlike this corrupt ANC government. Anyway, continuing. Kensani Maluleka, one of those who paid the big six for land, said she was stopped from accessing her plot on Saturday by law enforcement. She said, the people in charge of the occupation showed us papers which prove that they won the piece of land on our behalf. The problem is that police keep disturbing us from putting up our shacks. What can I say? She went on to say, they have told us they will keep fighting for us to have the land, so taking back the money will not be necessary. I like this area because it's very peaceful and quiet. All I want is a piece of land where my family can live peacefully. Moketi Motsamei, Mako member for Development Planning and Human Settlements for Midvaal, told Ground Up last week, this is no longer a land invasion but a criminal syndicate. Member of Parliament Dennis Ryder, DA Regional Chair for the Vaal region, said, the Elandsfontein land invasions have been like no others that I have seen in my 9 years in government or in the 10 years as an activist before that. He said land invaders have marched onto privately owned land where landowners are still living and threatened to kill the legal owners and burn their houses. The threatened landowners are not white farmers. The Elandsfontein landers are a diverse group of people from all race groups. Even the black South African landowners have been threatened. Landowners should not take the law into their own hands or demand that the municipality assume the functions of the South African Police Service. All right, guys, later this week we'll probably have another follow-up with Marius and Clinton on a live stream, but in the meantime, you can see things are settling down. Hopefully, common sense and logic will prevail, but that's something we never know. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe.